Hi, I'm Annapolis Mayor Josh Cohen with your weekly City Hall update for February 23rd, 2010. I want to share with you information on three issues: our budget, the Annapolis Renewable Energy Park proposal, and the city liquor licenses. And let me begin with the budget. Last night at the City Council meeting, I gave the alderpersons an update on where things stand with my administration's budget preparations. By law, I'm obligated to present my proposed budget to the City Council on the second Monday in March, which is Monday, March 8th. At that meeting, when I present my proposed budget, I'll also be giving my first State of the City address, and the bulk of that will be focused on explaining what is in the proposed budget. There are going to be some organizational changes in there, some consolidation of some functions, as well as elimination of positions. Part of that is due to the fact that we face a $9 million budget deficit through the end of this fiscal year and into next fiscal year. But part of it is also not simply as a cost-cutting measure, but we're looking for ways to improve the effectiveness of the services that our city government provides. In terms of eliminating positions, unfortunately, layoffs are something that are going to be imminent for the first time in anyone's memory in Annapolis city government. When I present my proposed budget on March 8th, that budget for next year will show positions that will no longer be funded for next year. Earlier that same day, we will be notifying employees who fill those positions that unfortunately they're going to be laid off. The Department of Human Resources has been working diligently to make sure that all of our city employees are informed, have every resource at their disposal to help them with the transition into a new job during what's the worst job market in a generation. The real shame of it is that our budget deficit is not a problem of the employees making. Our employees have been coming to work doing what they're supposed to be doing. They did not create the budget deficit. But unfortunately, because personnel costs make up almost 85% of the city budget, the only way we can close this budget deficit, which we're obligated to do by law, is by looking at personnel as part of the solution. Personnel cuts are not going to be the only cuts in my proposed budget. We're looking at reducing all administrative expenses where we can, everything from paper to supplies to training to outside services, everything we can do to reduce expenses and still provide essential services to the public. To that end, to help me and my administration, as well as the City Council, make the best choices given a difficult situation, I'll be hosting two budget forums next week, on Monday, March 1st at Georgetown East Elementary School, and on Tuesday, March 2nd at the Mount Olive Community Life Center. Both of those public forums will be from 7:30 to 9 p.m. in the evening. At each forum, I'm going to present a broad brush picture of our budget situation, where our revenues come from, where our expenses go, as well as present different options that my administration is considering to close this budget gap. I want public input. We'll have comment cards for people who may have suggestions but may not feel comfortable saying them out loud. But the timeline is very compressed as far as my administration's proposed budget, because I only have less than 2 weeks to finalize my budget. It's not ideal. We had hoped to do this a week or two ago, but the snowstorms ate up the better part of 2 weeks. The budget process after March 8th will continue for a couple months, because once I submit my proposed budget to the City Council, the Council will then take a couple months and review it line by line. The Finance Committee will review it first, then it'll go back to the full Council. There will be ample opportunities for public input, both at the committee level as well as at the full Council level. But this is a tough time, and we will get through it. even though there will be changes and some of our citizens' expectations of government services will have to change to reflect the different financial climate that we're in. The second thing to share with you is an update on the Annapolis Renewable Energy Park. This is an initiative that the previous administration had started. It's an exciting concept to take the old Annapolis City landfill on Defense Highway past the Annapolis Mall and use that as a center for a energy generation facility utilizing alternative energy and utilizing some of the waste products themselves, gases from the old landfill, taking the yard waste that we collect and we take out there and converting that into energy, doing solar energy and other alternative energy sources to not only serve the city government's own energy consumption needs, but also produce enough that we can sell energy back to the electricity grid and make a profit. There's been a lot of work done on this proposal, both by my administration and the previous administration. Our paramount concern is to make sure that the city's interests are protected financially and legally. And while I personally am very excited by the possibilities of this alternative energy park, at its core, it's still a financial deal. And my administration and the City Council are going very methodically to make sure that at each step in the process, the city is on solid footing and that our interests and the taxpayers' interests are protected. So no action was taken on the energy park last night. My administration will be updating the City Council probably in the next few weeks as we continue to move forward with that process. And the third thing to share with you is an update on the city's bar wars that have gone on generations in this town. Last night, the City Council voted to schedule a public hearing for Monday, March 22nd at the 7 p.m. council meeting, a public hearing on a bill that was introduced last year during the previous council that would lift the restriction on new 2 a.m. liquor licenses downtown. So that hearing is set for March 22nd. In addition, at the same time, the current City Council a month ago created a citizens committee to examine our city's liquor laws, including the debate between midnight licenses versus 2 a.m., but also looking at our laws more broadly in terms of fees, in terms of fines, in terms of enforcement and penalties. And my hope is that this committee will get past the surface issue of midnight versus 2 a.m. and be able to recommend to the City Council solutions to address the fundamental issues of behavior of bar patrons and making sure that we have a business climate that is not only equitable to bar owners, but also does not negatively impact the quality of life of the residential neighborhoods around them. So there's a lot going on. The big thing, of course, is the budget. Again, I want to invite all of you to attend one or both of the public forums on the budget, March 1st at Georgetown East Elementary School, or Tuesday, March 2nd at Mount Olive Community Life Center. Both public meetings are from 7:30 to 9 p.m. As always, please call my office with any suggestions, comments, questions at 410-263-7997. Send an email to mayor@annapolis.gov, and you can always check out my blog and leave a comment there at mayorcohen.com. Thank you for your time.